Unfinished business. Frac sand issue updates. I believe we set up a meeting for March 24th for the initial meeting for the study group to set when they want to meet, and starting from 9 to 12 on the 24th. I sent out the wrong date initially for the second set.
I would like to have a chance to say something about last week's meeting on this topic.
On frac sand issue, okay.
Yeah. I'd just like a couple minutes just because I've given a lot of thought to this over the last week. I feel a need to respond to the direction the meeting on March 4th took. The democratic system was taken out of the meeting. I want it to be known that I feel there's no room in county government for bullying. We were discussing people to be on a study committee. Part of being on a study committee is to be able to work with others. When you can't discuss in a normal tone of voice the people who are going to be on the study group, how can you work with others to study the information in a respectful way? There was no respect shown to Teresa, the chair of our board. The rest of us were shown no respect either. Bullying by children is not tolerated, neither is bullying by an adult. I am embarrassed to say I did not respond to this behavior like I should have. I strongly believe bullying should not be tolerated, but when I was bullied, I let it continue. I believe in a democracy, in government and in life. Democracy was nowhere to be found last Tuesday. The study group will put together an ordinance that will be presented to the board. The board will send it on to a public hearing. After this process, it will again come back to the board to vote on. There will be plenty of opportunity for all of us to have input on this ordinance. There will also be time for other commissioners who are not on the study group to have input also. That is how democracy works. I'd like to make a motion that we support our chair's opinion and have Teresa and Dana appointed to the study committee. If Dana chooses not to be on the study committee, I further my motion to have Steve appointed to the study committee. I will not support bullying by anyone.
Hear, hear. All right, now, because of that, I get my turn to respond.
Oh, everybody can. We're just discussing.
For those of you in the audience that don't really know exactly what went on, you saw just a partial glimpse of an issue that has been going on and on, that after a while starts to become a little bit tiresome. Judy brings up bullying, and I'm glad she did. There's been some issues here of bullying going on. We've got two commissioners, myself and Dana, that have stood on the planning commission that have gotten bullied numerous times. That's unacceptable, and it happens all the time. It's happened to us. I wish somebody like Judy would come to our aid when we get bullied. It hasn't happened. One of the other commissioners, Ms. Storley, actually got after a gentleman because he did not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and started yelling at him because he didn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. That is a form of bullying. You know, we've got instances where this happens quite often. Anybody that watched the tape knows that I stand up for my convictions and the people from my district, and I'll stand up for myself. I don't tolerate bullying. When Commissioner Walters called me on the phone and we talked about who was going to be on this committee, and I had expressed that I had extreme interest of being on this committee, I've spent a lot of time researching this issue. As it's been mentioned, all of these are in my district. I've had numerous people, emails, phone calls, letters of support, people from as far away as California supporting tight regulations and potential banning of frac sand. So Teresa knows my convictions, knows that I was on the study committee, which those figures are wrong, but keep going. So the issue comes into play that I talked to Teresa on the phone, and she said, yep, you can be on it, Dana, whatever. I get a phone call a week later from Teresa saying, I think I want Steve to be on it now. And I said, oh. And she said, because you're too busy. I guess that's kind of for me to decide, but you can start to see that something's happening why somebody doesn't want me to be there. So I said, well, I appreciate that, Teresa. However, I cleared my schedule and I don't sit on a lot of committees so that I could free up my schedule on purpose so that I could dedicate myself to this issue and to the issue of the highway department building. Two of the biggest issues that are coming across this board this year, one of those issues of frac sand might be one of the biggest decisions coming across in this county in our lifetime. So I said, I appreciate your thoughts, but I've cleared my schedule on purpose and I'll continue to be on this. Her response to that was, okay, that's fine. So now I come into a meeting where I get blindsided, not told at all what was going on, that you're no longer being considered for this. The reasons that were given was that Dana sits on the Planning Commission. And I would like Dana to be on that as well. The other reason was that Teresa was the board chair. Now, I was a former board chair only a few months ago, so I guess the question of just because you're the board chair doesn't necessarily make you the expert on the topic. So the question then in lies, which is true, the question then in lies, why is there such a coup that I'm not one to be considered to be on this? You've got somebody that's experienced, has been around for a couple of years studying this, has been very vocal in the passion that I have towards it, and to the constituents of my district for their representation on an issue that is coming about in their area. So it comes back to, why would you not want that person to be on there? The excuse of that I don't have enough time, kind of a bad excuse. That just because you're the board chair, I guess it sounds to me like somebody's grasping for straws not to want me to be on here. And I think all of you would agree, it kind of sounds a little bit iffy.
I really don't.
Teresa, please let me finish. I appreciate it.
But it's not true. I have nothing against you being on the board.
And you're suggesting that
whoa,
we
stop.
have a
Please,
coup
Judy, I did
going
not
against
interrupt
you. You know what, though, last week I couldn't talk because you kept overpowering us. It's the wrong way to handle things. And there is no coup against you. None of us knew anything about what Teresa planned for the meeting before it came. I'm tired of being accused.
You both just interrupted him.
Excuse me,
you both
you're
just
out of
interrupted
order.
him.
You're out of order.
You let him speak earlier in a meeting
He's
without
not
being
yelling at
recognized
commissioners.
during the presentation. He was allowed. You gotta be consistent. You gotta be consistent. You both just interrupted Commissioner Zimieski. That's bullying.
Justin, do you want to finish what you were saying? Yes. I was just trying to clarify that I didn't make any decision until last Tuesday.
No, that's fine. But that's the question that I have. And Judy, again, obviously is pushing that I'm not on it. She had said that it should be Dana or Teresa, and if it's not Dana, then it should be somebody else. The question is, why are you overriding the one person that has some experience, knowledge, vested interest in this issue? That doesn't make sense. So that's the issue then, is why not? Now, the other part of this is there is a few things that have been going on, and actually, Judy's side note, you might want to go to Tessa's office. There's some files that you might want to read after this. But there's been a lot of bullying going on, and I don't stand for it. I don't get pushed around. A lot of people in this audience know that. I don't usually defend myself unless I feel just action. That I feel railroaded? Yeah. Teresa had made a comment in that video that she was told by AMC and former chairman that she should be on it. She had mentioned Jack Miller. Jack Miller is a great friend of mine. We just had breakfast not that long ago. I contacted Jack, and he had said he has not talked to you. So I have questions that there's information being used that isn't accurate to portray something that never happened. Again, it's tough. I'm defending myself when I feel attacked and should have that right, just as Judy did reading her letter here. So I don't think any of the actions were out of line. You could tell I was irritated and agitated, absolutely. I feel I was wronged. I feel the people in my committee, or my constituents in my district were wronged. I guess I don't see it as bullying, merely standing up for myself as being bullied and railroaded on a very important topic. So I think if anybody could come back and say that they were bullied or felt wronged, it would be myself and the people from my district.
Can you finish talking now?
Yes, I am, Judy.
Good, because I still feel that your personality doesn't allow for being able to meet with other people and talk, and you've shown it enough times. since I've been on this board, when you've overtaken things by yelling about it. There comes a time that that's not okay. And a study group, it's not okay to try and power everybody. The fact that you make these accusations that we have certain opinions on things, which isn't true. I'm tired of being falsely accused at meetings.
It's interesting.
First of all, though, I did not make that decision against you at all, Justin. I really, honestly did not. And I did not discuss it with Rick or Bob or fellow commissioners at all. I really I did talk to AMC. I have emails from the head of AMC and everything. And I really thought about it. And I did call you on the phone about it. And I did mention, you know, you told me you weren't too busy for it. But after thinking about it, when I made the decision for the study committee, I made it based on Dana being on the planning commission and my need to be part of it as a public hearing, running the public hearing. And I am very passionate about the frac sand ordinance also. And I'm willing to contact anybody I need to contact to get more information. And I feel that it's very important that I am on it. And I preferred Dana, but when Dana stepped out, you were on it. And that's the way it stood.
And Judy had mentioned democracy, and I guess I need to call that into question, the fact that if it's democracy, then what authority did Teresa have to make this entire committee decision all by herself?
I checked on that right away, and I brought it up at a meeting that the board chair has the right to designate a study committee. And nobody opposed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it as it was okay with the rest of you that I set up a study group. And I worked on it. I talked to public health. I talked to soil and water. I worked through this one step at a time.
And you'd mentioned a phone call, and you did call me, but you never called me to say that you reconsidered to talk to me about my feelings.
I didn't tell anybody I had reconsidered.
I know.
I didn't tell anybody.
And that was probably hurt feelings on my behalf.
But I didn't really want it. I wanted to be able to explain myself at a public meeting why I made the decision.
So,
and I didn't want to influence everybody else by calling anybody ahead of time.
so instead of giving me the heads up that I was no
But I
longer
didn't
being
give
considered?
Dana a heads up. I didn't give Steve or Judy, anybody a heads up. I didn't give our zoning department because I really thought this was my decision to make. I was authorized to do it. I felt I was authorized to do it. And so I wanted to keep it till that day.
Maybe you should have made it as a suggestion and then let us comment on it.
Make a suggestion.
Your appointments. You should have said, I'm suggesting that, so me be on it and you would be on it. And then we could have had a discussion. We wouldn't have been in this position right now. But
Maybe I could have done that too.
you could say, I thought about it. Could have been a tentative type of thing. Or?
I didn't anticipate that it would be a problem either. I thought it
I feel that
made
Justin,
sense.
it isn't, all of the mines are going to be in his district. He really needs.
No, I know they are talking, because Holcomb Township is talked about, you know, they got frac sand too, or silica sand.
And he has been here longer than me.
But yeah, and it's good. I'm glad we're having this discussion. And it's interesting that, and Judy, you love to vilify me and make me look like the bad person for standing up for my convictions. But it's true. There's been some bullying, and in fact, there was a member that's not a department head, but is on this committee that was actually kicked off twice because of their behavior. But yet we didn't talk about that, Judy, at a meeting and defend him. So I get vilified, but everybody else gets a free pass. That's
This
an
is
issue.
a brand new committee.
Well, it doesn't matter, Judy. You're saying that you're sick of bullying and all this kind of stuff, but this is the first time you've ever brought anything up in calling somebody's stance on their convictions and standing firm on what they believe bullying. That you're tainting the water quite heavily there.
I don't feel that I am, but I have a right to my opinion also, Justin.
You do, and I have a right to mine. And like I said, Judy, there are some documents we probably should show you in Tessa's office when this is over, so if you want to meet on that one after I get done meeting with Terry Botcher, we'll probably go over those because there's some disturbing things, but this is something that needs to be looked at. Watching who gets accused of what and all that, sure. And I'll be the first to admit that I can be in the wrong at times. But standing up for my convictions when I was told to be on a committee and then waited till the last minute to be told you're not on the committee with not really good justification why, you can understand why I get I get a little defensive on that one.
Can we move along?
Yeah.
I think we've got that.
Okay. Highway
You guys are okay,
Department,
we beat it up pretty good.
Highway Department building repair costs, we